It says the meeting is being live streamed. So am I supposed to hit got it?
Got it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, where are we? Cool. All right. Make sure I see my live one. There we go. Too bad I didn't have background music. The live ones, I don't have background music.
That's the next thing you need, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could sing.
Or I can sing. Yeah. A cappella. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Meckes. This evening, we have live our special guest, Myrna Lou Goldbaum, Master Palmist, author, Soulmate specialist, an Ohio University graduate majoring in TV radio journalism. Her books include May I See Your Hand, Soulmate Connections, Relationships, Love, Romance, and Soulmates, Diary of a Palm Reader, and her latest, Cruise to the Other Side, a Metaphysical Journey. Myrna Lou teaches classes and instructs those who wish to learn palmistry. The modality employed is referred to as Asian palmistry. Her palmistry services include parties, private and corporate groups, individual readings, seminars, workshops, psychic fairs, and has been a guest on national radio and television programs. She has worked with people in over 93 countries. That's a lot. Yeah. Currently, the only master palmist in the world who can be on the radio show and read palms live from scanned computer palm prints. She is a vendor in psychic fairs, book fairs, trade shows, and works for entertainment agencies and corporate events. Last but not least, as of March 2020, she has documented that she has read 57,103 palms. I welcome the one, the only, Myrna Lou Goldbaum. Welcome, Myrna. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. It's an honor to have you here this evening.
Well, I think it's an honor to be on your show. So
definitely. So tell the world, tell all our listeners and viewers, how did getting into palmistry, how early did it start for you in your life?
Well, first of all, I just have to tell you, I've read 58,218 people as of today.
Oh.
So I was at 57,000 in 2020. Then when the pandemic hit, I got a lot of emails and I did a lot of readings over the internet.
Yeah.
So I learned how to do this when I was 10 years old. And my mother was a nurse in a hospital. And I took 2 buses from Dayton, Ohio, to the hospital where she was working, and she couldn't leave. The second shift never showed up, and she was the charge nurse with the narcotics key. So she said, I'm sorry, we can't go home. We're going to stay for another 8-hour shift. And I got noisy and I started whining, and you know how kids are. So she pulled a book off of the volunteer wagon, handed it to me and said, here, read this. And for 8 hours, I studied that book. I couldn't make heads or tails out of anything in the book but the diagrams. And every page had a different picture on it. And every picture I memorized. Then I went back every day for 6 months, 5 days a week, to study that book because they wouldn't let me bring it home. And it's Chinese, was written by a Chinaman whose name I didn't pay attention to, because when you're 10, you don't look at an author. I didn't even look at the title. I just said, oh, palmistry. And I sat down to read it. And so I've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
So when I was 10, my sister was 6. She's 4 years younger. I practiced on her. Then I did the milkman, the mailman, the neighbors, the teacher, anybody that was in earshot of me, I grabbed their hand and tried to read it. Well, at 10, I wasn't very good, but by the time I was 16, I was getting 50% right.
Wow.
It's pretty good. 95% right.
Yeah.
I should have retired 20 years ago, but I keep doing it because I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you like something, you just keep.
Yeah, and then especially starting that early, and that young, it kind of, I've heard stories from other people when they start a particular thing that young, you soak it up like a sponge, and not only that, it becomes more, you become more immersed in it,
Well,
and
there's a
especially as you
story to that.
continue,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
when you
there's a
can,
story to the book. 45 years later, I was still looking for the book and I couldn't find it. So I wrote my own. And that's where May I See Your Hand came in. But having a fair in Boulder, Colorado, and a man sat down across from me and he said, "You sound just like a book I have at home." And it turned out that book was the one I learned on, and he gave it to me. But this is the best part. He bought it in Maine at an antique store for $10. He was in Colorado. I was born in Ohio where I saw it. There's
yeah,
only one copy of that. It was written in 85. So
wow,
it's an antique to begin with. Plus, there aren't a lot of copies of something like that floating around. So he
yeah,
said, my book had just come out, the May I See Your Hand book that I teach out of. So he said, if you give me your book, I'll give you that book. I went right to his house the next day, handed him my book. He hands me a plastic bag, and all the pages are going
uh,
down. But he gave me the book. So I had to have it fixed up
rebinded,
and rebound. Yeah. And I have five memorized, but it's exactly the way I do it.
yeah,
So I
wow,
do Chinese and not Hindu.
oh, okay, huh. So
Okay.
it was published in
Siri here. Let me know if I can help.
1885,
95,
1890.
1895.
Oh, okay.
So 1995 would have made it 100 years old. So it's
Wow.
over, it's an antique. It's worth a lot of money, but to me, it's worth $1 million
Oh,
because
yeah.
it
Yeah. It's
proves
priceless to
everything that
you.
I've been.
Yeah. Wow.
So
That's
isn't it
amazing.
interesting?
Yeah. Huh. Um, you've got some books of your own, as I mentioned before.
Right.
Now you've got not only a palm reader, but you are well and a professional, I must say, in connecting people, helping people
It's
connect to
called
their soulmate.
matchmaker. It's like
Yeah,
being
the master matchmaker. Yes.
right. Yeah.
Tell a little bit about this book. How did this
Okay.
start?
Well, most of the people that I read, the women want to know about love and romance, and the men all want to know about finances. But a lot of the men are lonely and they go, "There's nobody out there." And then the women say, "There's nobody out there." So I started looking at that, and somebody at a big fair in Denver named Love Psychic, and I didn't like. So then they said, "Okay, then you could be the soulmate specialist." And that's what I am. So I've been that for many, many years. That's my branding. So when I do a reading, I can talk about work or other things, but I like soulmates. So when I wrote the book, it was to help people find who they're looking for or what their energy is seeking. So we all want things. So people have a criteria list in their head, right? And you start looking for some of those characteristics personality. I wrote the book to help people who are seeking a soulmate, people who already are with theirs, people who are miserable with theirs and want to know why, and people who've never had one and don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
that's why I'm the specialist. Okay.
Now I remember I was a couple months ago, I was going through YouTube and I'm like, I searched your name and there's a video from back in
Early 90s, maybe
early
the
90s.
80s, might even be the 80s. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 72 years.
Yeah.
And so the YouTube thing started in the early 90s.
Have you read for any famous people?
Right. Many, many famous people. A few of them, if you want to hear. The most famous one would have been ex-President Gerald Ford. And he came to the very abrupt and said, "I don't know what I'm even doing in your line." And he had 4 Secret Service with him, and he was already retired then. So I have to tell them to go across the room. And he goes, "Oh no, they stay with me." And I said, well, you want them to hear what I have to say? And he said, well, I'm going to tell everybody you're a faker. I'm getting a thing that says my connection's unstable. What does that mean?
Might be internet or something. You're still connected, but sometimes there's a little lag in the internet if the internet's
Okay,
kind
it
of
says upgrade to
dragging.
pro. I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
I'm not doing
Um,
that.
Well, you could probably,
Without
it
my
actually should,
husband,
yeah.
with my
It'll,
husband not in here, I'm not doing that
yeah,
because I
yeah.
might lose you altogether.
Yeah,
So anyway,
it'll allow you to still broadcast, but I've got the pro version, so it shouldn't matter on your end because
okay,
you're a guest for the thing. If something does happen, what we'll do, we'll just reset it.
okay. I can
Log
do
back,
it at 5 days a week, every
kind of
day, because
log,
I
yeah,
love this subject.
kind of log back
So
in.
anyway, I made Gerald Ford tell his Secret Service to go across the room. And he was a keynote speaker that I was working. There was a lot of movies. And if you don't tell me something, I know I'm downstairs and tell everybody you're a big fake. So I told him something. And he jumped up and yelled, I'm a believer. So his Secret Service were on me like mad.
Oh man.
The room, they thought I heard him. So he gave me a $10. It was in the 90s.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty unusual because
Wow.
this event I was working was prepaid by an agency that sent me out. I used to work for 7 agencies. That's a lot of different ones calling me all the time to do. And I did the Broncos team, the whole bait football team. I did Sly Stallone, Clint Eastwood, Kevin Bacon,
Yeah.
Travolta, Jackie Gleason a long time ago. Um, Ivana Trump before she was divorced.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Other people that you would have heard of, Irma Bombeck, Phil Donahue. I could just rattle them all off. Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
But the best one was Myrna Lou because I was named for her. And so my name is Myrna, but Myrna, when I in her theater where she was playing the part of Mame, I made the manager take us backstage, and I was with another my husband. She made us all sit on her bed, and she was standing in front of us. And I said, no, you should sit down. You just didn't. Was whole. She said, I want to know what you see in my hand, dear, because I told her I did that. So I said,
Yeah.
first of all, I was named for you, and I hate. Said, me too, because everybody calls it Myra because it's Myrna, and it
Yeah.
doesn't look like Myrna or, it's just anyway. So she said, gave me your hand and she said, am I getting married again, dear? And I said, it looks like you buried 5 of them. And she did.
Oh,
I
wow.
said, no, you're done. She said, I thought so. So she writes a picture to Myrna, from Myrna, P.S. Did they ever call you Myra? And I have it. I thought that was
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Um, now, you have a new book out, and it's titled "Cruise to the Other Side: A
It's a
Metaphysical Journey."
paranormal novel, and it's about a mother and daughter, and there's a psychic in it, and all kinds of weird things happen. And while I was typing it and writing it, I got down. I kept looking behind me while I was typing.
Yeah.
It scared me a little bit, but it's a fun read, and it's definitely metaphysical. So
Wow.
the cover of that book has a hand holding a crystal ball with the cruise ship in the middle of it. And the publisher made that.
Yeah.
So I have copies of all my books. So I wrote 4 of them. So one is out of print right, but the other 3 are available. And if a person went to my website, they could, find out how to order one. So that my website, myrnalou.com. It's
Okay.
www.myrnalou.com.
Oh, okay. And if anybody wants to, search for a book or get more information too, we'll have your information on the Conscious Radio Network website,
Right. And
links to your website.
I do readings over the internet also.
That's right.
That's
Yes. So if anybody wants to
so
reach out to you for a reading, they can,
well,
they
that
can send you an
website.
email and
Well, yeah, the email is palmist@myrnalou.com. But my
yeah.
website won all kinds of awards because my husband made it for me, and it's got everything you need. you just push the button and you get to each part. So Alexa, Bing, and Google went together, and I had 700,000 hits on my website. That's a
Wow.
million hit. That's a lot. And
Yeah.
so number 6 best website in the US and number 12th best list in the world.
Huh.
So that's an honor.
Yeah, that is. Wow. And people can, if people want to meet you in person and get and sit down with you, you will be in Largo, Florida. So that's south of, is that south of Sarasota or north?
No, it's north, closer to Tampa.
Okay.
And I'm going to be there this weekend. So if any of your listeners or viewers would like to have a reading, they should come by there. At 2 o'clock on Saturday. The fair is Saturday 10 to 6, Sunday 10 to 6. Saturday at 2, I'm giving a talk on soulmates, and my book will be available there. And the talk is called How to Find Your Soulmate. So a lot of times married couples come together and go sit down, and they want to hear it too. And I said, you already have yours. What is wrong with you? I go, well, we don't know what it is. We always heard that word bandied about and we don't know what it means. So I said, okay, I'm going to explain that in the lecture. And I do. And to me, it means different things than other people maybe, but I think reincarnation is what it really is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as somebody you knew in a past life, in this lifetime, you come together to complete, I call it the karmic debt payback. And
Yeah.
so to me, it's, I have mine. So marriage was very stable. He died after 20 years. So I didn't get to stay in it. Second one was 13. It was not stable. I got divorced. This one is 27.
Wow.
I'm waiting for the second date. He moved in on the first date because we both just knew.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? Then we
That
didn't
is-
get married for 3 years because I was going through the divorce. He had a custody battle for his kids. So we couldn't get married anyway, but we were married from the first 5 minutes. We just knew it.
Yeah.
So and that's
Wow.
what people, if anybody gets that experience, they go, oh my God, you know, it's like electrical shocks in your head going, blah, blah, blah. You'll know. And
Wow.
somebody once said to me, how do you know if you're in love? And I said, if you have to ask me, you're not. It's infatuation. Because
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
you are, your feet don't touch the carpet. You walk through the house coming and calling everybody sweetie because you're happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow. Now, there's I've heard that there's some misconceptions out there. People talk about soulmates specifically being your, your partner, but the soulmates can also refer to just somebody you knew in a past
right,
life.
it
You never
means
really
we're
had to be married.
two people who click.
Yeah.
What I say is two women who hit it off right away. They're not gay. They're just for many years. So
Yeah.
I clicked with somebody in the second grade. I'm still best friends with. Second grade. And we're still in contact and back and forth. We know when each other's birthdays are. We know everything that's going on in our family. Okay, two men can click, and that doesn't mean gay either. It means two men who in a past life could have been two women. One of them could have been his mother. It could have
Yeah.
been on grandpa. It doesn't matter who you were. It means two energies find each other. And you know, everything in the world is energy. I'm
Yeah.
sure you know that. So we all put out a vibration, and the energy is how you vibrate. So I vibrate at a number 4, and the most you can get is 5. So to tell you who had 5 on an energy release or how the back and forth would have been like Edgar Casey. Heard of him?
Yeah.
Jeannie Dixon, who told Kennedy, don't go to Texas. I'm a seeress. I see the whole scenario. She was a 5. I'm right under them. The average person is a 1, maybe a 2. Once in a while, I see a 3, but I'm
Yeah.
high intensity. You know, I have a lot of energy for my
Yeah.
age. I'm like,
You definitely have a lot of energy because it might be you that's kind of interfering with the internet, because
it could be
on my
I'm
side, I'm
touch-
good, but it's like every now and then you kind of like, like going like,
oh no, oh
but
no.
It's not that bad.
But I'm not allowed to touch anything here because of the energy. I make
Yeah.
lights go out. I make the microwave turn off. I'm not allowed to touch the TV,
Yeah.
remotes, nothing, because I do have too much energy.
Yeah.
Watch run
Yeah.
backwards. And watches after they get tired of running, just die.
Yeah. Maybe we'll tell all the practitioners out there and people that are listening to send some good energy to help block the disturbances within the internet and stuff, so the rest of the broadcast can go really smooth.
No, I
Yeah, every
hope they
now and
can
then
hear
it kind of
me.
goes, it pauses and then comes back, but it's not like, it's very brief. So
Terrible. That's weird. I'm not touching anything on purpose.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. So I know there's a lot of information. So okay, there's 5 books. Let me bring up your thing.
No, 4.
4.
I'm
Okay.
writing the 5th one now.
Okay, that's right. That's
But you
right.
have to find time to do it, and it takes me a long time because I'm doing other things. I'm pretty involved.
Yeah.
So the book is going to be called "What Happened on Emerald Deck," and it's also a ship, cruise ship. But
Yeah.
there's a kidnapping
Oh,
of a
wow.
newborn 2-month-old baby by a nanny.
Huh.
And so I don't know if that's going to be metaphysical or a mystery, but there is metaphysical involved because there's a palm reader in New York that tells the nanny to do it.
Huh.
So
Wow. Now the seminars that you put together, let's see, yeah, seminars, classes. How do are those like in like big groups or
well, I'm going to be
individual?
teaching a class in my house on March 5th. And that class takes 2 hours. I guarantee a person can read after I go through a big flip chart with each line, each symbol. I go through the whole thing, and then I give them a little test. And if they
Yeah.
pass the test, they get to go home. So I read 3,081 people so far, and only 2 didn't get it.
Wow.
And 2 of them, one of them was an old lady who fell asleep in the middle of the class. And she was younger than I am today, but
Yeah.
she. And so when it was over and I gave a verbal test, I said, "Where's the lifeline?" And everybody's supposed to point it out. And she goes, "I know it's there somewhere." And I went, "Oh no." So I stayed after everybody left. I did another 2 hours just for her.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Could you call me a cab, dear?" And I said, "Oh no, I'll take you home. Where do you live?" "In the old age home." Is that funny?
Oh man.
Then I gave her a hand. I had a plaster and I gave her because she wanted to take her magnifier and go show people what she learned the second time through. She learned it then because then I tested her and she got it.
Yeah. Wow.
So a lot of people want to learn it just for party, or they want to learn it to actually make money or use it as a tool. It's my tool to get in. I'm really psychic. And so I don't even need the lines, but I use them as a guide. So it's like a blueprint. So I can look at a hand and follow it. I know where to go and what to talk about.
It's kind of like a tarot card reader using tarot cards as a tool to tap in to their energy. And,
Well, that they're psychic too, yeah, but it's different because the cards are different for everybody in the layout. I have a hand that you were born with that was this big when you came into the world, and now it's a great big hand.
Yeah.
And I can look around and find stuff. So I could do 4 hours on one hand if I wanted to.
Whoa.
There's that much there.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
normally I do an hour reading. If anybody in your video audience would like a reading, I'm doing 50% off to say they heard it here. So
Okay.
normally I charge 100 and I would do it for 50.
Okay. Okay. So any listeners or watchers, if you're going to listen to the show or watching the show right now on YouTube, and you, is there a password?
Well, big savings.
Yeah.
It said
So,
$10 off.
yeah, tell If you're in Largo this weekend, let Myrna know that you watched her on this show, and she'll give you 50%.
No, here. That's if they did it over the internet with
Over
me.
the internet.
At the fair, we're charging $35 for 15 minutes, and it's a taste of what I
Okay.
do. So if a
Okay.
person had a fair, then I for 50, the rest of their reading on the
Yeah.
internet. I don't even need the internet. If they just called me up, I know the hand. I memorize every hand I ever do. So
Yeah. Okay. All right.
okay.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
Largo is going to be really big fairs because they said they were advertising heavily. And the exciting thing is they have a big flyer they sent out, and I'm on it. They used me for part of the publicity. So that's too.
Yeah.
So usually when I do a lecture, I pull in a lot of people.
Yeah.
So in Denver, I used to get 100 people, and there were 70 or 80 chairs in the room. So they would stand all along the back and the sides. Then some people got tired and sat on there. Then there was fire laws, and I had to shoo them out. Only could have how chairs were. Because I can't do this anymore. My trademark is run up and down the room and read every single person in there, one line on every hand.
Yeah.
70 or 80 people.
Yeah.
That's moving pretty.
Yeah.
There would be like 10 across that row, 10 us in the next row. I did it. I can't do that now. I do the 2 front rows.
Wow. Awesome. Let's see.
You want to know anything about my book, the Soulmate book?
Yeah, does anybody, yeah, let's see. Let's get into this one right here.
Okay. So actually the table of contents in there is the first 17 pages. I tell people, and if you don't read another word, read those pages, because that's why you end up with the soulmate. Because the things that I talk about are things your mother never told you. Mistakes not to make this time. Questions to ask when you're dating. 15 qualities. How do you recognize it? Will they stay forever? What do you need from each other? How do you react with each other? There's a million things that never come up in a conversation that you need to know before you go out and flirt with somebody.
Yeah. And I see here what the importance of what a soulmate needs is honesty, generosity, empathy, forgiveness, gratitude, and skills.
Those are the beginning things that I teach people from that book. So a lot of people in Denver, when I lived there, would go through the airport, and the TSA guy saw me one time when I was traveling, and he said, "You're the face." And I said, "What? What?" And he says, "You're on the back of that blue book that walks through carrying on your arm. Read it on the plane." And so he knew who I was.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? So
Wow.
I take you anywhere. Because even somebody who didn't know me recognized me. And the guy said he had come for a reading with me, and my book was in his glove compartment. And whenever he had a break, he would go out and read a little bit of it.
Wow.
That was an honor.
Yeah.
I loved hearing that. So that meant that I was helping him. See, and the whole idea with anything metaphysical is to aid and help the other people who come to you that need advice, out the door, or they need something, or they wouldn't even try and find you.
Yeah.
Right.
True. True.
So if 58,218 people found me so far that want me to help them.
Yeah.
So this weekend, last weekend in the house, I did 5 people. And that's a lot, because that's kind of draining. An hour does a lot. I need a break in between before I do the next one, so that I can get psyched up and be all ready with clean energy for the new one. So I get all their energy off of me from the last one, sit down and do the next one. So my husband said, "I'm a prisoner in my own house." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because you go in the room and lock the door." I don't lock any doors, but I do close it. So he said, "I can't do anything." I said, "You can or you could watch TV in another room. You have the whole rest of the house. He goes, well, their energy comes right through the door and I feel them.
Yeah.
How you like that?
Wow.
See, but I got a soulmate and he gets what that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. And if anybody wants to go to your website, it's www.myrnalou, MYRNALOU.com. .com. Cool.
And palmist at myrnalou.com is my email.
Okay. Yep. Palmist at myrnalou.com. Yeah. We'll also have that information on our website along with the video. So
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm also going to be putting together a kind of like an author's table page to where all the authors that have been on the show with us can also, we'll have a book
Showcase.
page. So,
Well, let me know about. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I always like when I do a lecture, I hold up each one of my books. So this one, I'm taking 20 Soulmate books. The most I ever sold before was 16 at a fair.
Yeah.
And I'm taking more this time because I'm lecturing.
Wow. And these books, can they also find these on Amazon?
Oh, they're on Amazon. That's also an ebook for people that like ebooks. So is the Cruise to the Other Side novel.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
2 out of 4 are on Amazon.
Yeah.
Order it from Amazon, but then you have to pay taxes and all that. So when they order it for me, I charge shipping because I have to take it to the post office and mail it. But I don't charge tax. I pay for the tax.
Yeah. Okay.
That saves a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was to be $15 in the price.
Yeah. But it's always best to go to your website and purchase it, or come see you and come to your table at the fair in Largo and get a book
Well,
from.
Spirit Fest is a really nice fair.
Yeah.
And they put on a really good combination of all different kinds of things. So a person could spend a whole day there or a whole weekend like you do, your feet, because they're walking, there's nowhere to sit down except for reading.
Yeah.
So you're just walking around and looking and fingering everything up and checking stuff out. But it's a learning process too.
Yeah.
It's where everybody learns something the minute they walk in the door.
Oh yeah. These shows are getting bigger and bigger and more. It's just the energy. It's like I was telling.
When you first walk in, the energy is overwhelming and it hits you like that. And then you settle down and then the energy settles down around you. But then a person can walk around at their leisure and see what they can figure what they like.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I won't be at this one. Sarasota, I will be in, was it March, April, and then the one
April 2nd and 3rd in Sarasota. Yeah, I'll be at that one.
Awesome.
And in August, I'll be in Punta Gorda, which is south of here.
Yeah.
Halfway to Fort Myers. But actually, people came to those from Miami. They come from all over. They will drive. I think it's a good fair. And the reputation for Spirit Fest gets them from all over.
Yeah. And we have quite a few practitioners at the show too that are from out of state. I think we have some from, Arizona. I think I saw one from Arizona, North or South
From
Carolina,
California.
Georgia. Yeah.
Because they do shows all over the country. That's what they do 24/7.
Yeah. Now the international community that you've done readings for, 93 countries.
Right, as long as they can speak English or understand what I'm trying to tell them.
Yeah.
So I've with mud all over him, dropped on a sheet and slapped down. I had ink, lipstick, mud, just can think of to cover their hand up to, send it to me. Then on the internet, a person just does that and I can do it.
Okay.
But actually what happens, it's better if I have it when I do a show like yours, 3 ahead, I would have read what I found about their hand on the show. So now you have to have me back. And you can do a
Yep.
couple ahead.
Yeah,
Or I
yeah.
could just do yours and embarrass you.
Yeah, I could do like,
I know heart. There's a lifeline and a love line on there.
yeah.
See, so but you're handed. Aren't you right-handed?
That's my that's yeah, yeah, this is my I'm
One I
right.
don't know. I know this one.
That's
I
my
told you I memorized every hand. I know
yeah,
it.
that's my
So your
yeah,
lifeline is your fingers that runs from the baby finger across.
Mhm.
And it says that your IQ is way up there. Then it says the love line, you haven't been married and you're due. You're
Mm.
supposed to find the right mate this time. So if
Yeah.
you had a couple of relationships and they didn't work, it means you've been saving yourself for this big V. The fork
Yeah.
or a V means two people tie the knot right here, and you have one.
Ah,
And the
okay.
V isn't any good unless it has a base on it that looks like this, the
Yeah.
bottom, and you have one. So take a look at your hand, turn
Yeah.
it around, look at it. You should see a V that goes down the middle of your hand on the thumb
Yeah.
side of your hand, and it's
Giant
got a
V.
bottom on it. That says finality. It means forever, for the rest of your life.
Huh.
It's a partner. You never
Yeah.
had one. So even if you had relationships or you were married before, it's not a partner. This is a partner.
Oh, okay.
And you also have the soulmate mark, which is real important. And that's the thing that's up by the wrist that looks like a little pyramid or a ball, or let me see
Like,
again. You got the pyramid. So look on your hand right here, right by your wrist, and you should see coming towards me a thing that looks like a mountain standing up or a pyramid. You
yeah.
see it? That's a soulmate mark. It's a symbol that I don't have one, but my husband does. And it takes one in a couple to have that.
Oh, okay.
You got it. So the requirement is a baby finger from the other hand is supposed to be able to fit in that slot. And I call that a little slot or a little cubby hole right there.
Mhm.
So go ahead and see if you did it. It fits perfect.
Huh.
So if it fits, that means it's meant to be.
Wow.
So there's a Jewish word called beshert, and that means supposed to happen. And that's supposed to happen. It's a Hebrew word, actually.
Beshert.
Yeah.
Huh.
So unless it's beet red, you're not in it right now. And it isn't red. I can see that.
It's definitely not red.
Right. When I do somebody's and they're trying to fun with me, and they take their wedding ring off and they go, "What do you see?" And I go, "Well, I see you're married. Where's the ring?" And they go, "Oh, I put it in my purse." You can't fool me because I get it.
Yeah.
See? So there's people and people. So when a person is not who they say they are, I can pick it up. That's what psychic is. And I know when, like at a big fair, I can walk around and go, no, no, maybe, yes. And I know which ones are the real ones and who's the fakers. And there are a lot of funny people at fairs. Some of them are a little bit out there. I call it Lululand. They're just not down to earth. I'm down to earth. I'm so normal. I'm boring, but I like it. I like to be like that.
Exactly.
I
Not
like my
everybody's
feet.
really normal.
Well, no, I like my
Normal.
feet on the ground. I don't like to be an airhead,
Yeah.
not out in space somewhere.
Yeah.
Some of them are a little bit out there. After I work all day, by the last reading, I'm starting to get spacey. I have to eat something right away or I just pass out. Because
Yeah.
I give so much to each reading. You sat with me.
Yeah.
I do 100% or 110% on every single person because I don't believe in that little fakey thing and just do a little bit or, just leave them hanging. I do the complete thing and I go at it.
Yeah. Now there's a technique that when you start out, you have the person first.
So I have every single person do three things. First, they write their name and I feel the handwriting and that's how I get in. Then fold your hands up. So go ahead and you're folded already. And what thumb is on top? And if it's your left thumb on top, which yours is, says you were born left-handed, but you're really right-handed. So that means your mother switched you in the crib. But I did too. I'm the same thing. My left comes up first and I'm right-handed.
Yeah.
So what that means in your case, you have a mind like an engineer.
Yeah.
And you have little compartments. You could pull stuff out when you need it, and you put it back, and then you get something from over here and put it back. So your brain is different. It's not like mine, it's just who you are. But so you have a different, my IQ is my IQ, yours is yours. We're not all the same.
Yeah.
But this is what shows left from right tendency. So a lot of people whose left comes up are actually ambidextrous, but we're not talking about how you write your name with your left hand or your right hand. We're talking about how you think with your brain. So the brain has a left side, a right side, and a little seam down the middle. So the left side handed is logical, practical, sensible, common sense, right? The other side would be creativity, imagination, dreaming, and both of them together makes a whole. But if you were born left, you have a big one on both sides. Instead of a little and a big, you have two big ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So I've been married 3 times, every time, because I'm one of them. See,
Okay.
that's the
Yeah.
way I gravitate to the left.
Yeah. Another thing too is the slamming of the hand when you slam.
And then I have people shake their hand. This is the third thing. So writing, then fold the hand. Then I say, shake your hand 5 times, slap the table, and freeze. So you go like that, you don't move. And I read the space between the fingers. And while I'm doing that, the lines are coming up real good. That's why we slap.
Yeah.
So if you hit the table really good, when it's time for me to look, they're really creasy. I can see them better. And I
Yeah.
use a special light. I use a magnifier. So I'm really doing it. I'm not pretending, So
Yeah.
there are people that read different than I do, but we get the same answer. So this is Chinese, they're doing Hindu, they're doing Grecian, they're doing Mediterranean, there's different kind. We all come up with the same exact answer. Isn't
Yeah.
that funny?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that means it's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
It's how the
Now,
person looks at it.
yeah. As far as the history of palmistry, how long has this practice been around? This modality?
Well, since 2000 and BC,
Wow.
it started, that would have been Hindu.
Yeah.
3000 in BC, this kind, Chinese started. The thing is, Aristotle used it, famous people in history used it. Before they would go into battle, they would have somebody read their hand, make sure they're going to come out.
Like the Napoleon. Wonder if the Napoleon ever had his hands read.
I don't know. I'll tell you who used it.
He always had it in his jacket hiding. That's
This is my literature. And it says, it's an ancient occult soul, was used by Caesar and Aristotle.
Oh, okay.
Caesar too.
Yeah.
So I forgot I even wrote that. It's called an esoteric. So it's astrology, so it's numerology. I don't know that cards are, but I know this is.
Wow.
So scientific means that it's not woo-woo. But I get involved with the woo-woo people at the big fairs, and I don't care. I love it. But I love what I do too. So, and I know I'm good at what.
Yeah, especially the people's minds that you change. I mean, if a skeptic sits down and says, okay, like Gerald Ford, you get somebody that's really skeptical, like, oh, okay, I'll do it anyway. And really blow their mind.
Secrets got in line next after I told him. And I told Ivana Trump she was getting a divorce. And she said, oh no, me and the Donald are like this. And of course they got divorced.
Oh,
So I told John Travolta he would be a big star. And when I met him, he only owned a pizza parlor in Santa Barbara, California. He wasn't even in the, hadn't even done anything yet.
Yeah.
See, and I told you 16, 17, he would be the first talk host, and he was. And I told Bombeck to write a lot of books, and she did. See, so I worked in a newspaper called the Dayton Daily News in Ohio, and Irma Bombeck, and I proofread every 3 days, every third day. So
Yeah.
I got to proofread her stuff on hot lineotype metal on a thing where you typed and it shot down, the letters came out. So she never could find a mistake on me. It was
Wow.
perfect. Type perfect, and the English was perfect, and whatever she wrote, I caught every mistake before and fixed it. That's why I went to college. They gave me a scholarship.
Wow.
I
That's
had a
cool.
2-year scholarship for journalism school
Yeah.
because I worked hard at the newspaper plant. That's where I met her. And Phil Donahue was in an all-boy Catholic high school, and I was in a different high school, and we played against the team one, and he showed up at the victory with 4 other guys and him.
Yeah.
And he said, "Your reputation precedes you. We all want palm readings." And I thought, uh-oh, because we won, could be creamed, they could get killed. So I
Yeah.
said, "Come with me into the cafeteria." So I read him, and I told him that he was very intelligent and that he liked to learn information all the time, but he was real at ease with people and he could make them feel at ease. And he went, "You're right." So I said, "You like to do research?" He goes, "You're right." And I said, "And you're going to be on TV." And I was right there too. So,
Wow.
but I've done attorneys and public works directors and people from every walk of life you could imagine. I've
Yeah.
done murderers, kidnappers, embezzlers, blackmailers, UFO people, and I call them on it. And I say, "I see you broke the law." And then they tell me they just got out of jail. Do I want to see their ankle bracelet? And I don't particularly want to see that, but that happened when I was at 2 big fairs. And they
Yeah.
stuck their leg out to show me a bracelet.
Wow.
One guy, they both didn't pull a gun on somebody. One of them beat somebody up and the guy died. You have to go to jail when you cause a death. Chicken cars drive at each other and nobody caused a collision and a death. Both of them in jail. The
Yeah.
embezzler was $1,000 that he took from IBM, and I caught that. And I said, "I see you embezzled." He said, "I paid that all back. I've served my time." So you can't fool with me because I get it.
Yeah.
I went right in on it and I get it.
Wow. Yeah, you can't hide. You can't hide from the truth, especially those that are in tune to
So if you
yeah.
like what you're doing, it's a ho-hum job. And I worked in corporate for 35 years and I didn't like it, but I made everybody look good. And when I got married in 1996, my husband said, "You don't need to work anymore. Why don't I take care of us? I have enough for all of us," meaning his 2 kids and us. He said, "You can just do this a little more than part-time." Well, he made a little mistake. He created a cookie monster because I went to 70 hours a week.
Wow.
So instead of doing hours or 20 hours a week, it became 70. You believe that?
Wow.
I wore my legs out down the steps, bringing people in the house to do readings.
Yeah.
So I did, I was on a radio show out of Denver. I booked 465 people from one show. That took 6 months to get through them.
My
It took a long
God.
time because
Yeah.
I could only do so many a day. I did like 10 or 12 a day, every day, day in and day out. I don't know how my laundry got done. I don't know how we had meals. My
Yeah.
fingernails grew real long because I wasn't scrubbing anything or doing a lot of house, but that made my career.
Wow. Man. Yeah, it's yeah, you got to be careful what you wish for, I mean, it's like I'd like
Well,
to
we
do
found
this.
that was my calling. This
Yeah.
is it's my passion. So
Yeah.
if you get to make money doing what you love and help people at the same time, it gives me the up and it helps them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I hated it, I would have quit a long time ago. Or if I
Yeah.
thought it was, oh, well, or ho hummy, I have to get a drink.
No worries. And that's the reason I started this show. Well, technically back in 2015 is when I originally started it, but relaunched it September of last year. And my goal is, I want to make money at this, do this full time.
Well, you want to be able to get out of your job and do
Yep,
this 100%.
help
And I
people.
think I told you,
Yeah.
I think I remember what I told you. And I said, you're going to be discovered and somebody's going to offer you something big that's coming in this field.
Yeah.
But not until you prove yourself a little more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's coming. I could see where you could make a lot of money. I showed you the $1 million mark on your hand.
Yep.
You think I forgot all that?
No, you haven't.
I remember every single hand, whatever I said to somebody. Somebody can see me 20 years later and they say, so what do you see? And I said, back surgery, this, and this. And I told you, you're going to live to 92. They said, yeah, my mother's 92 now. That's the gene pool they come from. See? It means they come from strong people.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Have you ever connected anybody while doing a reading, like kind of like a past life type thing, to where somebody kind of like
what I do is I used to do an event called Single Seeking Soulmates. And so it was for 50 and above.
Yeah.
Then I thought, oh, I could just open it to anybody. So then I did Single Seeking Soulmates, period. 57 people came in there. And I put 6 couples together who are still married from that event. Because I feel a person's energy, I know what they need. And if I do the other person and their energy and I feel a connection, I introduce them. It's up to them to go forward with it. But I know who to introduce to who. So when I connect people, it's not past lives. I can find them on a hand. I could tell you maybe 1 or 2 or 3 that you were here. Like if you were a Viking or you were a outdoorsman or you were a woman who made doilies, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Wherever you were, if I can find it on a hand, I tell the people.
Wow.
So I know I drowned and I only have 1 past life. Average is 4 to 7. So, and the only one I had, I drowned right here. And the drowning isn't on everybody, but when I went to college, they said, what do you want to take for PE? And I said, oh, I have to take swimming. They said, what do you want that for? And I said, yeah, my star. They said, why? And I said, because I'm never going to drown again. I got it. I passed, but the thing is, this lifetime, I respect water and I know. In another lifetime, I didn't make it because I did drown. Wow. A lot of people have that symbol.
Huh.
And they go, you're right. I have to have my big toe touching the bottom or I don't like it. And that's because they know that their system knows. They don't know right then, but they know that they have to have bottom. They need the security.
Yeah. So they kind of, these markers kind of almost act as like a birthmark that you kind of carry on into other
it's a memory bank that we all have. So if you had 10 past lives, you have 10 memory banks inside you. I have one memory. So when 10 was a drown, then I had to drown this time. If a person had a bunch of them, they're all different things that happen to them every lifetime.
Yeah.
See, so it's called a memory bank implant.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You just bring it from one life to the next. And there's people with 60 past lives. If it's over 20, I yell at them. Because to me, 20 is bad. 6 isn't so bad, or 8, or even if they have up to 19, I let them have it. 20, that's 3 times normal, because 4 to 7 is normal. And then I lose it. And I say, what is wrong with you? Why do you have to keep coming back? Don't you know what not to do this time?
Yeah.
See? So past lives, reincarnation is past lives. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So most of us have been here before. I'm fairly new, but most people aren't. Most people are but I was a master last time. So the sex changes every time you come back. So last time I was a male master. This time they call me a master palmist because I'm at that point in my life where I have that many behind me. And so this, if I had to come back, I'd be the guy next time, but I got the soulmate, so I'm not coming back.
Ah, okay.
See, once you complete what you came here to do, you're done. You don't have to come back. Then you get to ascend.
Ah, okay. So when you meet your soulmate in any particular lifetime, that's
Okay, sometimes soulmates come together, make beautiful babies, then they separate. Then they have a divorce. That's not the same thing.
yeah.
I'm talking about when you find a soulmate, it's a partner, you march together to the same drummer's beat, and you're the same from now on, then that's when you don't have to come back.
Ah, okay.
So it's like the other person gets your head and you get theirs. And nobody is king of the mountain all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes in a relationship, one person is the instructor, the instructee. We're not saying that. We're saying equal.
Yeah.
Balance with each other.
Yeah.
So I don't like to see unbalanced couples. And when I see them, I go, so why don't you lighten up on her a little bit? Or why don't you cut her a little slack? You know, or if somebody's worrying about a job and they go, I'm up for an interview. What do you see? And I say, I can look and see. Well, you're not going to get it. I don't tell them that. I say, well, you ought to have all your options open. If they're going to get it, I tell them, I see where you're going to give it.
Yeah.
Tell somebody there's three of you up against the same thing. You have to be outshine them somehow when you get back.
Huh.
So how to do that too.
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Can you believe this hour has flown by?
It doesn't feel like an hour. That's
Feels
amazing.
like 10 minutes, doesn't it? Yeah, because I know my subject. I love it. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
me, we're just having a conversation, but it's about what I know, you know.
Yep. Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, being that close to the hour, let's see. We'll close the show off with not a song and dance, but don't have music. Woohoo! So if anybody out there would like to reach out to Myrna Lou for her for a reading, you can contact her at her website, www.myrnalou.com, or you can email her at palmist, PALMIST at MYRNALOU.com.
And I tell them it's all one word because Myrna Lou is like Mary Lou. It's all one word. Or Mary Ellen is all one word.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Or you can meet Myrna in Largo
This weekend.
Saturday and
If you're
Sunday.
in Florida, anywhere near there, they should come because it's going to be one heck of a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
About that. I was excited about your show. I'm excited about the weekend, and I live and breathe this stuff 24/7. So.
And let some of those at the event this weekend, let them know I won't be able to. Some of them will probably be looking for me, but there's a few. I mean, Mary Ellen already knows and stuff like that, but there's probably going to be a few going, where's Paul at? But
yeah, right.
Tell them I send my regards. I wish I could be there.
I'll tell you'll be at the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Myrna Lou, thank you very much. It's a wonderful and a blessing to have you on the show this evening. Maybe we can do another show. Maybe get some callers on.
Glad to come back, and you can have people send their hand in ahead of time.
Yeah. What we could do is we'll plan it well ahead of time and stuff. We'll get some people to email me.
Email me their hand, or they send it. They take a picture with their phone. They send it to my email. I read it. Then when I do a real reading, not pretend one like on a show, it runs for about 5 or 6 type pages.
Wow.
That's a lot. I said I could go a long time on a hand.
Yeah.
Depends on how juicy it is. If there's juice there, I'm going to find it, you know.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
thank you also for having me.
You're very welcome. Very welcome.
Okay.
It's an honor to have you. And yeah,
Well,
we'll do.
So I'm
we'll do
looking
a
forward to seeing you at the next one that you come to, that I'm there.
Definitely.
That'll be what-
Sarasota, I believe the Sarasota one is going to be the next
It's
one. I'll be-
April 2nd and 3rd. I'll see you there.
Yeah, definitely.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it. Myrna, you have a good night. God bless. And
Thank you.
goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for all watching.